EMF and RF, what are they? It can be confusing. Let me break it down real quick. The term electromagnetic field, EMF, actually comprises quite different frequency ranges that differ considerably both with regard to physical and biological aspects. And there's different kinds of EMF. There is SMF, which is static magnetic frequency. There is SEF, which is static electric fields. There is extremely low frequency, ELF. There's intermediate frequency, IF. There is electric frequency, and that's EF. And then there's MF, which is magnetic frequency. RF is radio frequency. So interestingly enough, in the ELF range, extremely low frequency range, if strong enough, EF, electrical frequency, and magnetic frequency, MF, are able to stimulate nerve and muscle cells, while in the RF range, energy absorption is heating and is responsible for potential bioeffects, which is what I want to go over real quick here. So basically, to sum it up, within the EMF zone, there are all these different types of frequencies. The RF frequency is the one that is causing the heating damage, which actually burns the glucose out of your brain and causes so many other bad things because it's literally heating you. So basically, elevated EMF fields are often caused from wiring problems or bad grounding. Radio frequency or high frequency electromagnetic radiation is due to wireless equipment and devices for data transmission. So just to get into details, RF radiation is a form of electromagnetic energy with frequencies that range from a few kilohertz up into the gigahertz range. There are many sources of RF energy in the environment. The well-known RF heating effect has led to the development of microwave ovens in the home and use of microwaves for other heating applications. Now real quick, if you look below at the graph, you'll see non-ionizing radiation with ionizing radiation, being nuclear bombs, X-rays, and ultraviolet light. Now let me just tell you how this works. So 1 hertz is 1 pulse per 1 second. And then if you move up to 1,000 hertz, 1,000 hertz is 1,000 pulses per second. Now, as you all know, we're made out of small vibrations of frequency waves. We all know this. So the reason why nuclear bombs radiation is so destructive is because the frequency, the amount that it's pulsating back and forth is so destructive that you see basically destruction right away. Now, they claim that non-ionizing radiation, which is 5G, soon to be 6G, 4G, 3G, 2G, your cell phone, your Wi-Fi, your microwave, they claim that non-ionizing radiation doesn't hurt you at all. Now, anything that's not nature, okay, which is these pulses of energy are not nature at all. It's destroying our equilibrium. It's destroying our balance. Number one, there's this whole PDF right here is probably over 20 studies of proof of these scientists proving that non-ionizing radiation is absolutely dangerous. I'm going to get into that in a second. But I'm just saying, look at this graph. You're going to tell me that the damage just stops after ultraviolet light. That there's no way. And the second thing I want you to look at is the 5G spectrum right there. It's 3.4 to 3.8 gigahertz. Now, if you look to your right, you'll see possible future 5G airwaves, 26, 40, up to 66 gigahertz. So this is from a military PDF, and that's how they mislead you. They say, oh, hey, 5G's here, but potential future 5G waves are here. And that absolutely is weaponizing radiation. You will feel that directly on your skin. Now, the way it works is the lower frequencies on this scale affect you internally. And the higher you go up, the more it affects you externally. Monkeypox. Now, this paper you're looking at that I put together, it looks intimidating. It's about 33 pages, but I promise you it's mostly graphs. And it's a 15 to 20 minute read, and it will change your life, absolutely change your life. This is 20 peer-reviewed studies. I'm summing them up, sometimes quoting them. It's a real quick read, gets to the point. Let me just give you the highlights of these studies and the damages. So first of all, free radicals. What the hell are those? We've always heard of this. I've never known what it is until I got into this research. Now I understand. A free radical is a clump of cells or a clump of atoms that are inside your body, okay? That's a free radical. Now, what is cancer? Cancer is a clump of cells, okay? So free radicals are very, very closely related to cancer, if not cancer. So, moving on to ROS free radical, that's reactive oxygen species free radical. That's a free radical that's created by this RF radiation. This specific set of free radicals actually eats the oxygen out of your blood. You literally can suffocate and drop dead if you have too many of these accumulating in your body. And another curious study is 5G and induction of coronavirus in skin cells. Absolutely amazing study, and that goes right to this and tells you 5G absolutely is RF radiation. All of this is RF radiation. Their first radio transmission, that's when all this began. Breaking it down, how can you hear voices or have different mental conditions from this? When we think we have neurons that are traveling through neurotransmitters, that's how the messages are sent through our brain, okay? And those are on calcium channels. When the RF hits us, the calcium channels have to react to block back that RF. And each time the RF hits it, the calcium channel blocks it. So what this is it's making the calcium channels overactive, which are giving too many neurons, sending too many messages. This can cause multiple different things. Brain fog, it can cause you to hear voices, schizophrenia, dementia, and more. So much more. Read the studies and it'll elaborate. And back to elaborate more on the ROS free radicals. In that specific experiment, in the study that they did, they realized that a pre-treatment of melatonin completely negated the effect. Which means every time you go to sleep and your pineal gland secretes that melatonin, that's a powerful antioxidant, and that literally reverses what free radicals do, which includes ROS free radicals. So that's why we need these antioxidants. And what are good antioxidants? Okay, coconut oil is a great antioxidant. You can Google antioxidants. There's so many antioxidants out there. CBD is such a good antioxidant that the government actually has a patent for antioxidants derived from CBD. You can look that up. I provide a amazing CBD that you cannot beat, that is absolutely changing lives, that I've used every single day, that my dogs use. It's amazing stuff. You want to check that out, link below. You really need to read this PDF for yourself, but I want to touch base on a few more things. Microwave syndrome is a term that the scientists have coined for hypersensitivity that you develop when you have too much of this going on. It literally causes you out of nowhere to have headaches, nausea. You'll just be hit with something. And you know, they even say if you go up to the ionizing radiation all the way up, you get flu-like symptoms, which means you absolutely get flu-like symptoms further down the line. That's what all these studies are proving and confirming.
Wide range of symptoms.
The symptoms of acute radiation sickness would be just exactly like a terrible flu. Person would have a headache. They would feel very tired. They would have a little bit of a fever. They might have some vomiting at higher doses. All of this would be more severe and would come on more rapidly.
The biggest thing about all this radiation is it causes inflammation. And if you know anything about the medical world, inflammation is the #1 cause of disease. So interesting, this stuff that's been around since 1917, the 1918 Spanish flu pandemic, this radiation that's been around since then that causes inflammation, it's been causing all of the disease that's around. It's exacerbating everything, all the chemicals in the food, the chemtrails in the sky, everything, all of the preservatives, all of the bad stuff, the tap water, all the chemicals in it, it's exacerbating it. And that's absolutely our issue that we have today. Okay, it's bad for you. You get it. I get it. We get it. How do we help ourselves? How do we stop this? Multiple things. The biggest and most important thing is shielding. There are studies that prove and that show that different metallic fabrics and different metals can absolutely provide an amazing shielding, okay? And you've learned in the video earlier that that doctor was wearing a silver-lined hat. We absolutely have those hats as well. They're on back order, but those hats absolutely work. You could just buy the material and make your own hat. The other thing you can do is buy the material, put it over your Wi-Fi router. If you're close to your Wi-Fi router, it won't cut down on the signal at all, but if you're farther away, it will cut down on the signal. But it'll basically completely stop the RF damaging waves from hurting you. The other thing you can do is get a big piece of that fabric, whatever fabric you choose, whether it's through us or anybody else. Ours guarantees works and you won't be wasting any of your time or money. So I always suggest you go through us. But if you buy a big blanket size piece of fabric and you incorporate it into a blanket or even just cover up with it, it'll allow your body to produce that melatonin at night without disruption from the EMF constantly. Our phones are always hitting you. Never sleep near your phones. Never sleep near your Wi-Fi. Shut it off at night if you can. Let your body recoup. Let your body recover. I sleep underneath a $2,500 silver canopy that my buddy gave me when I was having microwave sickness. And it was literally a godsend to have him come give me that. I've never given a friend a hug like I hugged him. It literally saved my life and got me into what I'm doing right now.
So please, the most important thing you can do is read this PDF and make somebody else read it, because once you read it, then you know. You can go to the studies and check it for yourself. The other thing, go to vtvault.org/danger. Those are all my milestone videos that woke me up to this before all of this. I've known about it for a while. I thought it was kooky until I experienced it myself. Then it dove me into speaking out about it and getting products out to save the world. That's where I'm at with it. You go to vtvault.org/quantame, you got your shielding. vtvault.org/CBD, you have your antioxidant. The most powerful antioxidant will remove anxiety, help you sleep, help with inflammation. Marijuana plant, it's like not even from this planet. It's like an alien plant. I find it so interesting, so intriguing, and I just can't believe that there's so many medicinal effects for that. And not only is there CBD in this spectrum, there's everything besides THC. So you got CBG, THV, you look them up. They're everywhere. And inside of our CBD, we actually add the root, which has a whole nother set of amazing medicinal compounds, probably super antioxidants. We haven't even looked it up. We don't have time doing so many things like this. So if you want to support this information being out, if you want to save yourself and your family, check out my studies, check out my site. You can also follow me on Telegram at t.me/rfshielding and follow my experiments as I try different stones and different materials and see if we can find even better blocking materials. If they're not going to come out with these studies, then I'll come out with them, okay? I'm not a scientist, but I'm going to get to the bottom of this and record my endeavors, and I hope you follow me, and I hope you like what you see, and I hope we can learn together and save this planet. All love, and I'm here until I die. Love you guys.